make sure fucking Facebook's gonna allow me to do the thing.
I suppose we can go live.
Says live already.
All right. Well, it says live on StreamYard, but I had to press live on Facebook, so we're live now. Yay! Greetings, readers and travelers, and welcome to another episode of Chattin' Stats. My name is Richard Stevens, and I'm the host of this Lit RPG podcast. Today, I am joined, as always, by my co-host. This guy. He's kind of a dick, but I love him. He's draining the life out of me, Mr. Joel Harvey. Joel, how we doing, buddy?
I'm feeling fantastic, dude. We're going to talk about some grand system vending today.
We are going to talk about some grand system vending, which leads us into our segue of our special guest, Mr. Ryan Maxwell, one of the Legion authors. Ryan, how we doing today, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I am here. I have my best friend with me. We're going to talk some damn good book. Well, books, but we're going to mainly focus on book one because we don't want to spoil it for everyone.
Yeah,
but we're pretty good. And before we get going, a word from our sponsors, because this episode is brought to you by Legion Publishing. Legion Publishing is a brand new publishing company that has just formed in the last year and has some amazing, talented authors behind them. Authors like Brian J. Norton, Rachel Neekirk.
Who's that?
Michael Head. Oh, yeah, I don't know who Rachel Neekirk is. Only wrote my favorite read of the year so far. So no idea who she is or anything like that. And then, of course, Ryan Maxwell and Lars McMiller.
Yes.
Which, Ryan, when can we expect your book out?
We're looking at my goal is Q4 this year to start getting the first one out. I've got a plan to do a rapid release of 3 books. I've been writing the first 3, and I'm a little over halfway done with book 3 as we speak. So should be looking at hopefully Q4 this year.
And we're just going to go ahead and knock it out. Where can people read your work currently?
Currently, everything is up on Royal Road. It's almost current. I'm a few chapters ahead still in book 3, but there are chapters dropping Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday of every week.
So we take Wednesday off, which is nice because I'm off on Wednesdays. So why do you hate me?
Hey, you can read Monday and Tuesday on Wednesday since you had to work those days.
I mean, I do spend Tuesday nights when I get home from work. Huh. We got people in the chat. Yeah, we got Creus in the chat. We got Shin in the chat. Freaking Shin. And of course, Zeckler has joined. Everyone, welcome in and welcome to a brand new episode of Chattin' Stats. If you're just joining us, we're here. We're ready to go. So, Ryan, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's going on, buddy?
Well, I'm not necessarily the most interesting person in the world, but I can be a lot of fun, I've been told.
That is true.
I have been reading lit RPG books since, I think we were just talking about this. I think I caught in 2016, 2017.
October 2016, I think is what you
something
said.
About there. I started with Alaron Conquers the Land when that was published. I started on book 1 when he was publishing book 5. Caught up rather quickly.
So about a year behind.
Yeah,
but not about a year.
But I mean, he was throwing books out like they were fucking pizzas out of the end of one of those conveyors at Domino's. So,
which we love Alaron. Alaron he's probably one of my favorite lit RPG authors. The Land means a lot to me, and of course, we're getting the Alpha Chaos Awakens on the 25th of this month.
So
his 10th book. Oh fuck! Everyone behave. TJ's in the chat. Fuck. Quack. So what got you into reading lit RPG?
Actually, it's a funny story because that was an accident. I've always been a big fantasy reader, and I was in the middle of some other series that I was picking up one after the other, and I got to the end where the author hadn't put out the next book yet, and I was like, okay, well, going through Amazon, then Kindle Unlimited, Kindle Unlimited had what I had at the time, but I was using the WhisperSync to listen to it on my drives in the car, and it recommended The Land as one of the books. And I thought, oh, cool, I'll get this because it recommended it, so it must be similar, and put it in. And I was really, really upset at first because I was like, this is nothing like what I've been reading. Why do they keep stopping to tell me what this person's stats are? This is stupid. But the longer I listened to it, the more I fell in love with it and realized this is exactly what I need and what I wanted. And so I said, I need to go find more of it. And of course, the time there wasn't a whole lot more of it, but I was able to find a few other things. Like I believe Dakota was coming out with some books at the time as well.
That would have been
then,
what, Divine Dungeon?
Yes. Yes. And then I found Harmon had a couple books out as well at the time that I've read some of.
Feedback Loop. Shout out to Feedback Loop.
Feedback Loop was such a good one.
Shout out to Harmon. I want to give Harmon a quick shout out because I love Harmon. That motherfucker. We love him.
So it took me so long to get Richie into the land.
It did. Ryan, have we told you the story?
I don't think you have. No.
All right. I know we've talked about it on the podcast before, and if you've heard the story, bear with me, guys. I'm so sorry. So Joel came out to visit me in October of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
It was my now ex-fiance and I living in a tiny studio apartment. Joel came out to visit, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I've been listening to the series." I was like, "All right, I'll give it a shot." You talked me into it. So one night, because I worked front desk at a hotel, I ended up having to do third shift on the last night Joel was there. So Joel came up to the front desk with me. We ran night audit, and then we just played video games in the back and watched the cameras to make sure no one was up at the desk. And then he was like, "All right, well, we're going to start this." So we started playing the land as we were playing. What were we playing? Were we playing Divinity Original Sin?
I thought it was like Overwatch or something.
Oh, no, it was Blackout for Call of Duty Black Ops.
Oh, yeah.
We were going back and forth between different games. And I think we got to Monster Hunter at one point, and we were just kind of going with the flow, whatever. So I quit listening. Oh, fuck. I said Alarian Studios title, and of course Brian joins. What up, Brian? We just shout you out for our sponsor, Legion Publishers. That's Brian. Go check out his book, Quest Academy. It's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. So
I think you're a little biased on that one. You're in the
I
book.
like Quest Academy, and that was before I was a featured character.
As far as I know, I'm not in the book yet, and I still like it. So
yeah,
it is a damn good book.
Hey Joel, at least I showed up for that episode. So so Joel came up, or we were listening to the book, and then he went home, and I just quit listening to it. Then my ex-fiance and we split. I went through a really depressive period, and Joel was like, "You need to read this fucking series. You're starting to work overnights. Listen to the audiobooks. I will buy you a physical copy of the first book and send it to you. That'll be your birthday." It's like, okay. Originally, he was going to get me a signed copy at Dragon Con the first year he went from Alaron, and he's like, "Oh, no, it's a hardback. I'm keeping this one." So he ordered one on Amazon for me, and then I read it, and I was like, okay, this is fucking good. And I've been hooked ever since. But when I got hooked, I was on a Nick Podell kick. So I was just going down the rabbit hole for Nick Podell.
That makes sense. Dude,
I
legend.
went the land, got caught up with the land, and then went into Bryce O'Connor's Mark of Kings. It was Bryce O'Connor and Luke Chimolenko. And then I went into Arcane Ascension and all of Andrew Rowe's books. Like I dived hard into Andrew Rowe's books because those are progression fantasy. They're game lit. They're tower climbers. It's fun.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started diving more into the actual lit RPG genre, going with Dakota, going with all of that fun stuff. But wow, we're popping off right now. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to Chattin' Stats.
All right, so let's get into grade system vending.
Let's get into grade system vending, which
Ryan, do you want to start us off with a quick synopsis?
Sure, we can do that. The main premise behind this was I noticed and had a thought that people really love to use vending machines. You know, they're everywhere. They're convenient. I don't have to talk to people anymore. It's a great, kind of a win-win situation when you're trying to get a snack.
It's convenient.
And it is. It's very convenient. And I mean, they sell everything nowadays from snacks to iPhones to
Tylenol.
I've gone through I was in the Chicago airport, and they had a Lego set vending machine that they would
Don't they have car vending machines now?
Yeah, I think the Carvana is doing some of that stuff now too. You just go up there and insert your $40,000 and get a car or something before you leave or whatever it is. But in any case, I noticed that's something that people use all the time, and so I had an idea. what would happen if Earth was being integrated into a system, and the aliens had scanned the planet and did a little bit of research. They did at least one whatever alien version of Google search is, and they found that vending machines were exceptionally popular. People used them all the time. So
Right.
they decided to, when they integrated them into the grand system, which is where the part of the title comes from, that they would set up the system of purchasing survival gear as in vending machines instead of like miniature storefronts. Because what I kept thinking in my brain was, if somebody's really setting something up and they needed to give you access to the tools that you're going to need to survive, the options are, oh, it magically appears because the system said it does. Or I thought about like Elder Scrolls, how they have stores that you can go buy things in at every town, and you're just constantly running from one place to the other to drop all your stuff off. And you sell 100
Right.
cheese wheels and you can buy a longsword or whatever the deal is.
Yeah.
And but if you had miniature unmanned storefronts, they wouldn't have to have other beings running these stores. They could just have a system that integrates everything into it, and the back end of that can work through magic. So I wrote a story where that happens. The apocalypse is what they're calling what happens occurs. Everything changes, turned upside down. They plant a mana core in the center of the earth, so it starts giving off actual magical energy that people can now use. And then
there's an earthquake in Dallas, like
there's
all that
a
fun
tidal wave that wipes out just a couple billion
Every
people all in one moment.
coastal city.
It's traumatic. And then because of the ambient mana, monsters start appearing everywhere randomly. So it's kind of like one of the old school Final Fantasy games. So if you ever played like Final Fantasy 7 and 8,
yeah, when you just out in the
run around
overworld
and all of a
running
sudden,
around,
goblin, there it is. Yeah. So some of that stuff can kind of happen as well. And they when they kill monsters, they drop monster cores automatically into their inventories, and that's how they are able to purchase items from the vending machines, using the monster cores. And then the storyline for book 1, in a nutshell that you could read on the back of any book, is that there is a shadow beast who has electronic capabilities, because he's kind of a electric type, I guess you would, if you're talking about Pokemon. It's an electric type monster, and it's able to control the mother vending machine that was set in the Grand Canyon, where all of the other items come from and get shipped off to the other vending machines via whatever ley lines are out there. And so they now have to go and eliminate this monster because people are getting the wrong items. Like, somebody puts their palm on the machine, that's how it recognizes what class you are, and then gives you a variable set of options of what you could choose to buy based on your class that would suit you well. And what was happening was, like the example that I put in the book was, a wizard put his hand on the machine, and it said, oh, you should buy warhammers. And so the wizard bought a warhammer, went into a dungeon, and was immediately murdered, because wizards don't use warhammers. So they needed
the 40K kind.
Yeah, not even the 40K kind. So they're needing to go through and do the.
I knew this was coming. I knew Paul was going to ask.
It's absolutely coming. I'm working on who is going to do it. I have a list of people who I'm actively looking to have do the audio as soon as it's finished. But I'm going to send all 3 books to editing at the same time, so I don't have to constant back and forth on which book I'm working on. But it is going to get audio for sure, and we're hoping, fingers crossed, it'll have a simultaneous release with each of the books.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah,
that would be
the goal.
Be great.
Which, so that's one thing I do love, is when a new book comes out and there's simultaneous audio release. Like, if I have to wait a little bit, that's fine, because then I can be like, okay, how does this character going to sound in my head? What's it going to do? Like, I can read this out loud, which I'm struggling right now because I'm reading Jack's new book. Oh, fuck. I didn't mention Jack earlier. Jack's another Legion author. Newly published.
How could
you also didn't mention Michael Head.
I said Head.
Oh, you did? Okay, I missed that one then.
But no, fuck. I messed up. I forgot to say Jack. Jack, who's going to be our guest on the next episode of Chattin Stats.
Yes.
Oh, I'm having a fucking day. No, I've been reading his book because it came out.
I started reading it also.
It is
fantastic.
So fucking descriptive, and I love it.
Yes,
but I'm like going through reading it out loud, and I'm like, Jack, what are you doing to me?
Yeah, but Jack is one of those people that you just know. He's
Oh yeah.
he's so eloquent and
Mhm.
and verbose with his ability to paint a picture for you, whereas mine is just ha ha ha. There's another dick shot. You know, that guy just got his brains blown out. So I sometimes aspire to be like Jack.
I love Jack. Jack is
Me too.
he is such a brilliant, beautiful man, and I adore him. So shout out to Jack.
Absolutely.
So okay, so back to grand system vending. When I first heard about this last year on GuildifyCon, it's when it was my first interaction with you and everything, and I saw your book pop up, and I saw grand system vending. I was like, oh my god, it's a lit RPG about a guy who gets isekai'd and turns into a vending machine.
Yes.
And then I
That's
read
what
it.
I thought at first.
Yep.
Then I read it, and I was like, fuck, I want this, but this is good.
Yeah, the vending machine had been done by anime already, and you are definitely not the only person who's been like, "Oh, this is just I got reincarnated as a vending machine, and now I wander the dungeon." And I was like, "No, it's not. Nobody dies
I
and becomes a
wish.
vending machine." So the main storyline isn't necessarily around the vending machines. The vending machines are the hook.
Yeah.
You know, that I can get whatever
Well,
I
and
want anytime I want, as long as I can pay for it.
another thing I do want to talk about real quick is like little Easter eggs. You know, obviously there's characters who are inspired by certain people, which we're seeing in lit RPG more, and it makes me happy because little
Some of
cameos
them
here
are
and there.
even in this chat.
Yeah, yeah. What the fuck?
Oh, that's true. I forgot Brian is in there. Yep, Brian is definitely in the book.
I was talking about TJ, but yeah,
Oh, TJ is in the book too, quite a bit.
TJ's in the fucking chat, Joel. Well, he's not chatting right now,
that's
but he's
what
here.
I said.
Yep, TJ got.
But
he's in there
some
as
are
well.
not here, like Geneva. Oh fuck's Geneva at?
Don't know. But
She just doesn't love us.
we
It's okay.
changed her name just to protect the innocents, and I do mean her victims, not her.
Damn.
Dude,
That's gonna be
She
the
would agree
introduction
with
to my character.
me though.
That's gonna be the
I
end.
used
Just Geneva's character breaking me. That's it. That's all.
I
That's all the
used
screen time I get.
one of Kira's insults on Richie earlier today.
We were going off on each other. Shin was here because Shin was
Yeah.
there. He can attest. Calm your tits. No, TJ, I will not calm my tits. I'm here.
Yeah, Hakuna your tatas.
So, what are the tropes, and are you going to avoid tropes, Mr. Maxwell?
Am I freezing
Oh.
up, or are you guys freezing up?
You froze up for a second. Can you hear us?
A little bit.
Hang on. Am I freezing up, or is that you?
That's you.
I can hear you now. I'm gonna try to.
Okay,
My Wi-Fi. Everybody and their dog is on my Wi-Fi today.
that's fair. That's fair.
Okay. I've got a wife and 3 kids. Everybody's on my Wi-Fi.
Okay, it'll be
All right, I
perfect
think
in
we're
the
better now.
playback.
So Paul asked, so what are the tropes, or are you trying to avoid going into tropes?
So there are definitely tropes in there. I actually got to a point at one time where it was like, let's just see how many tropes I can put in here all at one time. And so there was the Mad Max apocalypse trope. There was the cult that formed trope. There was the the people out in the desert who come in and attacked you. All kinds of other things. Second favorite Irish author. I don't know. I haven't heard all of them, but
He was asking me because in my Discord
Oh.
right now, there's the feud going on between who's my favorite Irish author, Rachel or Brian. And now Jack is published, so now I have to pick who is my favorite, which is going to be Rachel because I know she'll beat the hell out of me. I mean,
true. She's tiny, but she's feisty.
hey, I got to have lunch with her, and she's an absolute delight. I love her to death. She's like the big sister I never had.
All I'm saying is there's a Chaos Gremlin sticker on my car, and there's not one.
You got a Chaos Gremlin sticker?
I did.
What the fuck? Why didn't you give me one, you jackass?
I think I have one somewhere.
We were giving them out like they
Motherfucker.
were candy.
Yeah.
You give me the wrong signed book for Rachel's book, or the Wolf and Flame.
Ava, yeah.
You gave me your signed copy, and then you don't give me the damn.
To be fair, it was night. I had been driving like 10 hours and
How many times have I seen you since?
I was a little sleepy. I don't know how many times.
Like 4 or 5?
Once.
No, 4 or 5. Dick.
Anyway,
So Ryan,
Ladies,
so one
do me a
thing I
favor.
did
you're both pretty.
so one thing I did want to touch on because you mentioned it is I love how whenever they're traveling from like where they start in Dallas to the Grand Canyon, you have stuff constantly going on along the way. It's not just like, oh, we hopped in the car and then we were there, even though it's the middle of a apocalypse,
Fast travel.
Yeah.
right?
I figured there would be too many. There would be a lot of things going on. I mean, if you think about the infrastructure of the United States, since it takes place in Dallas, the infrastructure of the United States
Mhm.
is that from one location to the other, there's always things in between, and
Yeah.
there's always people driving up and down the highways. And if suddenly the world changed like that and monsters started popping up, people are going to swerve all over off the road, and they're going to have accidents, and there will be survivors accosted on the side of the road. And because monsters can randomly spawn at any time now, they'll begin to go, and they'll go and grow in areas where people aren't constantly hunting them down.
Now we
So
don't get to behave. We get to misbehave. Jez is here.
he says it keeps booting him out, though. So at least that's the message that I got separately. So we
He didn't
can
message me.
we're safe. It's not with you.
He didn't message me. What the fuck, Jez?
It's a Legion thing.
He can still message me. Fucking
You're
Jez.
still pretty, Richie. It's okay.
Yeah, Jez tells me I'm pretty. It's fine. We're okay.
Yes.
No, so I do
twice.
misbehave twice as much. Yes, sir. I got the barbecue chips ready. No, Joel, you do bring up a good point. The fact that it's not like, hey, we're fast traveling, like the
It makes it
Skyrim
realistic.
prisoner waking up. Oh, so you're awake. It's not even that.
Yeah, there's so many things to build on and explore in a world when it comes to that sort of time frame. Also, because the main thing that I've set for the first major story arc of book 1, 2, 3 is only scheduled at the beginning of the book at a year out. I've got to build in the time frame, so I'm
Right.
not going. I don't get to the a year out in book 1. So making the things happen in between, and there's so many things that can happen in the small time, in the small in between spaces. We get it where it's too far from this city to this city, so we're going to camp on the side of the road. Like camping on the side of the road, we run into this group of goblins that happen to have a more intelligent goblin in their party, and learned how to use the vending machines. So that was a big boo-boo for them to have to deal with. So there's just all kinds of things you can add into those, and it just adds to the depth of the world, I think, for more things to happen in between.
Absolutely.
It gives a actual realism depth to it instead of just not anything there. Because I mean, it's an apocalypse. I want there to be actual world travel and everything like that. Because I mean, which this is not a bad thing, but I'm going to preface this before I give this shout out to this book. But the Smash the System and Defy the System, where they decrease the state sizes and everything. They do it really well, and I'm like, oh wow, that's just shrinking the world for this apocalypse. That's really cool. And then
You mean when they walk from Muncie to
Bloomington,
the fairgrounds in Indy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, Jay's here. Fuck the trolls here. God damn it. So Ryan, since you're really going to be releasing all 3 books and getting them edited, do you have plans for what comes next? Is it just a saga or a trilogy?
I have plans to go past this, but I'm going to take a short break after book 3 to work on a slightly different project, because I want to see how these do. If it's well accepted and people love it and they want more, I've got I've already got a couple little threads in book 3 that I've written out that could be some pretty cool epic adventures for the guys to go on And then I've also in my back pocket got a possibility of taking players from this person or from this universe into another one. So I've set up some threads that could go to another place and do like I just lived through the apocalypse and now I get isekai kind of a thing.
Oh hell yeah!
Twist on a trope.
that would be a trope right there that I would be fucking ready for.
Now I'm just imagining who he's talking about.
I can tell you who he's not talking about. Or could it be for the person that we're not talking about getting isekai'd because of the thing happening?
I mean,
you don't know.
I don't.
So there's a link. There's a little Easter egg if you guys make it into book 3, and you also read the series One Flew Over the Dragon's Nest by Nick or by Boslow. What he's going by on
Shout
Road.
out to Boslow. Shout out
to Boslow because it's
good.
Badass
it's
series.
Really fucking good. I'm like 55 chapters in, I think.
Yeah, I'm like 84 chapters into it, so I'm already in 2.
Which, of course, Nick over the pond right now, so he's not joining us.
Yeah, I think he's asleep.
Probably. I thought he'd be here for your cute face.
He's been kind of tired recently.
That's fine. He messaged me this morning, so just gave me an update on where he's writing, and I was like, "Hell yeah, I'm proud of you."
But when you get to book 3, there's a little Easter egg in there for his story too. So it gives me that gives me a thread that isekai could be an option for some of these characters.
Hell yeah! All right, I'm down for it. We did get a question from Paul. So who are the main characters, and why are they the main characters?
Story starts out with 3 people initially, and then grows within the first beginning of book 1. Tom is kind of the main character that I have following everybody. As a software developer for a gaming company in Dallas, along with 2 friends of his, Derek and James. Derek is the serious. He's an ex-military. He was also developer there at the deal, but he was in like project management side of it. So he was working more with the storyline guys. And then James is the ever lovable cut up who can't take anything seriously. He's every single one of my internal thoughts that I externalize through him that I can't keep to myself anymore.
He also has a propensity of shooting people in the dick.
This is true. He does.
Butters, you shot him in the dick.
So those are my main 3 characters originally. Then along the way they meet up with Kevin, who ends up becoming a barbarian, which is funny because if you meet my real friend Kevin, you would be like, "There's no way this guy would be the barbarian," but he has a bit of a temper, so it's funny.
Hey, Kevin Sinclair could be a barbarian. Oh, different Kevin.
It's not Kevin Sinclair. He would, but he'd be like, "Oh yeah, we see that." Yeah, no. And then they meet up with Jay, who is the Jay that is in this chat, Jay Barras, and another female named Kira, who was Geneva, but we decided that it would be best to change the name just to be
for the victims.
Yeah, for the victims, to protect the innocents. But that's the main party that ends up going through this. So, but I wanted to start with something that was different from. I wanted to start from something that was different from what I see in most other beginning of lit RPGs, where it's one guy becomes powerful, or then eventually finds friends and goes through this thing on their own. Where I started with a core group of friends, people who already knew each other and could survive together through this apocalypse that's happening. And I thought that was going to be a fun, different way to handle that as well. And it gave me more options for a group dynamic right off the bat.
So because we're on that topic, I'm just going to ask the question, Joel.
Yeah.
Do you think our friend group would survive in the apocalypse?
Our friend group?
Or do you think we'd kill each other?
I mean, if we could make it to each other, I'd give us like a 50-50 chance.
I think if you and I just teamed up, we'd be fine. we'd be okay. No, we'd probably fucking kill each other.
It's the other
'Cause
people that would
You would
killed.
get like a fireball spell or something. Be like, here, tell me if there's friendly fire, and just throw it at me.
Hey, Rich, let's test fall damage.
Hey Joel, what's the best part about this game?
Fall damage.
So there's
That
a story
happens
there. There's a story there.
Every single game we
So
play.
back in 2013, a hit TV show called Defiance got an Xbox 360 PS3 tie-in game that was an MMO on consoles. And I got a copy of it for Joel for his birthday. And we stayed up all night playing it. And the first thing Joel did when he logged in was like, I'm going to see if there's fall damage. And jumps from the highest point he could just to see if there was fall damage.
I mean,
and thus has became a valid...
Hey, Richie, you know what the best part of this game is?
No fall damage?
There's no fall damage.
No fall damage.
So now we test it in every single game.
Every fucking game. Except Souls games, because we know there's fall damage.
Yeah.
But hey, Joel, guess what?
Yeah.
Monster Hunter doesn't have fall damage.
Oh.
To be fair, yeah, Elder Scrolls' fall damage is a lot nicer.
True.
I'm also a fall damage
off a
tester
cliff in that game.
Yeah, I'm also a fall damage tester. I am always all about how fast can I get from point A to point B.
Right.
So if that means jumping off the side of a mountain and finding out what happens, I'm gonna do it.
See, that would be us. We would be scaling buildings or something. Be like, I'm not walking around this. I'm climbing this motherfucker.
So I think that it would be a little more obvious in this instance that there would be fall damage, since you don't really feel all that different with how the system was integrated. But I'd be more than happy to let somebody else test the fall damage for me, Joel.
Now I just want to read a lit RPG that implements no fall damage, like an Apocalypse that.
I was gonna say the Completionist Chronicles touches off fall damage in the Ritualist, which adds a fun element of healing yourself while you're falling, so that way you regenerate when you get down to the bottom.
Well, he also had a robe that made him not instantly die.
It was his water. It was his healing.
But his robe kept him from instantly dying. It left him at 1 HP. And then whenever he healed...
Oh, I thought his body got caught in the water as it was falling, and that saved him. I don't know. I know if there's ever an apocalypse and I can cast Featherfall, I'm going to, because I know my party is going to be full of fucking morons, aka Joel. And I'm going to have to cast it to save them.
He'll probably have to cast it on himself after I throw him off a roof.
That too. So Jay wants you to tell us about Azrock, because he's fucking awesome.
He is one of my favorite characters. Absolutely. I came up with this idea of a deity-like creature, not quite actual, considered a god sense of their power stages, but he's like a demigod, I guess you might say, who has enough power to influence things across the multiverse. And he became Tom's patron when Tom chose to become a warlock, which, no, sorry, spoiler if y'all haven't started yet, but Tom does become a warlock.
We'll talk about the class system and choices.
Yeah. So he becomes a warlock, and Azrock is his patron. And I just wanted to put something that was everything I've ever wanted to say to every human being I've ever met, every single time, into a character, and that is what Azrock is.
I love him.
We talk about people having no filter, but this guy is the definition of no filter. If he thinks something, he's more powerful than pretty much anybody on this planet, probably anybody on the planet, and he knows it. So he's okay with talking shit to literally anyone.
So essentially, he's me when Rungy told me to check my filter that one day, Joel, and I fucking snapped.
It's even worse than that, I think. I mean, it's just every swear word you could ever think of. I'm
Oh no,
I'm
that
having to
was
get
that was me
creative
that
with
one
insults.
day. I had a very, very, very bad
So
day.
that was a question I wanted to ask. Where the hell do you get all your creative insults?
It's usually just I write down a bunch of words and then I string them together in something that kind of makes a coherent sentence. And then I go back and edit that with as many other gross or terrible descriptive adjectives that I possibly can think of.
I see. So it's a like you have to go back through it and keep adding.
Yeah, it's like a 3-step process that I do. Step 1 is write out words that I would like to use and haven't maybe used yet. Step 2 is try to string those together in something that makes a coherent sentence, and then step 3 is add in a few more adjectives to make it as gross and or vulgar as possible.
There you go.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's so much fun. I recommend everyone do this at least once a week.
I was gonna say it's fun coming up with insults and everything on what to call people.
It really is.
I think my favorite one to ask someone, like in the nicest way possible, is your thought process denser than concrete?
My absolute favorite one was, and I apologize if we offend anyone, was I would call you a cunt, but you lack both depth and the warmth.
That's
Joel used
the
that
one
on me
I used
earlier. So
earlier.
Shin, hey Shin, that wasn't an original one that he said to me earlier. Just so you're aware.
I mean,
it was so
when your
so
insults
good.
are like the North Star, wise men are gonna want to follow.
And that's a quote from Anchorman, except you're talking about insults instead of Christina Applegate's ass. Come on, Joel.
Hey,
also
sometimes
Drake
if
said
they're
that
that
line.
good.
And I mean,
I think it proves my point.
Fuck you, Joel. That proves my point.
It's okay. You're still pretty.
I know. I'm adorable. So, Paul asked, "Are you a pantser or a planner?"
Oh, I am absolutely a pantser. Most people actually get really mad at me because I've commented on multiple people's plagiarism is the highest form of flattery. It really is. I'm too lazy to do this, so I'm stealing yours.
It's just not in the academic format.
Yeah, just not the academic format or literary, really. I mean, don't steal somebody's book. It's not okay. But I've commented on several people's posts on things like Reddit and Facebook when they've asked, how long do you usually plan on writing a book? And I say, I usually spend about 6 hours planning a book. And that's where I write down a like 2 or 3 paragraph synopsis of what I want to happen. And then I write down major points to happen from point A, and then I write an ending. And then I write like 1 sentence definition of the first 15 chapters, and then I just start writing. And that's it. And usually by the time I've gotten to chapter 3, I'm already have more chapters than I had planned for in that first 15 chapters. Because my characters will just go off by themselves and I have zero control over what they do.
That's fair.
I mean, Tom has a gambling habit as of yesterday, and I didn't know that was going to happen.
Okay.
You ever just like look at your outline and be like, we're supposed to be over here. What the heck are you doing way out there?
Well, that's the beauty of, in my opinion, that's the beauty of that little bitty short synopsis. It's so vague that there's no I needed to be here. It's just I haven't reached here yet. So that's why I like doing it so short a period of time, because if I keep going on planning it out, I'm just going to write the book as I was doing it anyways. So
that's fair.
I can't plan that much. My life is basically the same. I don't plan it very well either.
So one thing I did want to talk about, because you touched on it earlier with Azoth, is I am a huge fan of mechanics. We all know this.
Mm-hmm.
The warlock. I am a warlock
Yes.
main, and like anytime I play D&D or Baldur's Gate or anything, I normally go Warlock. So I absolutely loved your version of the Warlock, where it's like the tattoo. What I'm not sure what it's called exactly, but it's like
Pact of the Tattoo.
Tattoo. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That was awesome. I loved it. It was homebrew like craziness. And
Yeah, and actually, we've me and some friends of mine who play D&D together once a month, actually have recreated that as a homebrew subclass of the Warlock in D&D Beyond now. So, because I wanted to see what it would look like if we did that, and my goal was I wanted them to be a Warlock because I wanted a patron, because I wanted this sassy, badass, doesn't give a shit patron
Warlocks are just
that I
awesome.
could have in there. And Warlocks are cool. And Warlocks are also very misunderstood. Most people automatically assume Warlock means I made a dark pact, I sold my soul, get powers for that, and then I'm going to burn in whatever depths of eternity that I end up when my life is over. And that's not always the case. If you read even in the D&D lore and the backgrounds of how they have those set up, is there can be neutral and good patrons, not just evil patrons that could give you power. So I wanted something that was neutral, and then I also wanted something that focused on one of my favorite Warlock paths, which is the Pact of the Hexblade. So somebody who was more of a physical fighter than just standing in the back going Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Blast all the time, because Warlocks have sucky spell slots usage. So you're pretty much down to cantrips and then whatever big flashy thing you can hopefully kill the guy with one shot in.
The way it read out, it was basically D&D classes in an MMO where your mana can just recharge like however much over time. What was I gonna say? I was surprised that he got was it dark healing?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Dark
it's weird
Matting,
to see a warlock with healing abilities, but it was
I
great.
wanted to play off of the typical dark and light contrast in that most people know that healing magic comes from light or life magic, which is considered the polar opposite of things like Eldritch Blast and Dark Ball or whatever the evil spells that warlocks are always known for. So I wanted to play on the fact that because he chose this warlock class, that puts him in what is typically seen as a dark aligned path. And since the mana and energies for magic have opposites, so water and fire, light and dark, life and death, I wanted to play off of the fact that he wouldn't be able to be healed by those spells because he's considered on the dark side of it. So had to go in that there was some kind of a balance in the system, because one of my mottos for life is balance in all things. There needs to be, if you're going to go one way with one thing, you've got to go the other way with another thing. So in order for him to be able to heal himself, I just created a dark spell that only works on those who are on that dark aligned magic scale.
And that's one thing I really liked. It kind of gave me the vibes of healing in Divinity Original Sin. And Original Sin 2 is when you had like an undead character, poison. If you cast heal on them, it hurt them.
Yep. And
you actually have to use like a plague spell or something for them to get health back. So shout out to you. That was unique. And it's also really cool that we get to see a warlock as one of the main cast of characters, because warlocks in lit RPG and fantasy, it just feels like they're not there anymore. They're usually like one of the bad guys or not there at all. Very rarely do we get a warlock in the main cast.
Yeah, I really dithered back and forth on whether or not I wanted to just make him the standard spell aid kind of character. But I was like, you see everybody doing spell blade of some kind, not because that's not a bad thing. It's something that everybody loves. It gives you a well-rounded character that can get out of almost any situation that they're put into, or at least has the ability to go through something that they're going to go through with whatever action they could and probably succeed. But I was like, okay, I don't want to do the same thing. I want to do something that nobody else has done, or not very many people have done. I'm sure somebody else has. But so that's why I thought Warlock would be a cool pact with this, because I can go Hexblade path where they do get physical abilities, and they're more of a combat fighter, but can still have spells to get them out of whatever situation you're in. And I thought it's a fun twist on that standard Spellblade style character.
So the way I read it is he got the healing spell from his bonus of being like the first character to get a class.
Yeah, I have changed some of those things. It's unfortunately a little far fetched that some of them get those things, but I've changed it to be that like first X number of, first 500 or first 1,000 or whatever it is. But yeah, he got one from that because he knew that I thought of it as the way that we play video games, right? When I get started in a game, I need something that can hurt people and I need something that can heal me. That's like one of my first two things. So even if it's a potion or a spell or whatever the case is, I want something that can hurt people and help me, so that if I start getting beat up, I can run away screaming like a little girl and heal myself as I'm running, or just kill them to death with whatever spell that I get. So yeah, that was my initial thoughts in doing that. Was if I was doing this as a gamer, those are the things I look for.
That's fair. All right.
Some of those,
Richie,
and then I try to pour intrusive thoughts into everything too.
Yeah, I will say one, because we didn't mention him yet. One of my favorite characters has to be Squirrel.
Yes, Squirrel is everybody loves Squirrel. I don't think anybody. Squirrel and Jerky. Those are the two. I think those are two of everybody's favorite characters. The familiars. Everybody loves familiars.
Familiars are great.
For those who haven't read yet, so Squirrel is a wolf that James gets, and Squirrel is obsessed with nuts, not the tree kind.
In fact, that was how James and Squirrel first met. That was also how they figured out that healing magic can grow body parts back.
Oh, now she fucking shows up.
It's Geneva. Hi.
A Jerky and Squirrel side story. Do it, Ryan.
So I do have in book 2. This isn't a spoiler, but I have I have at least one Jerky POV chapters where it's actually through Jerky's eyes and something that he goes on and does during one of his daily routines. So that was fun.
Okay, I don't think I got there yet.
No, you'll get there. Don't worry. It's totally worth it because it's also familiars can evolve, so that comes later. But Jerky is unevolved during that POV chapter, so he has this base level of thought where he doesn't really understand names all that much. So everything that he calls people is how he thinks of them. It's like a description of the person, like the lady in the cafeteria, Charlene. He calls her the food lady because she's the one who always gives him food, and she calls certain ones the bad man or the stupid one or whatever, however he sees them, instead of giving them actual names. So it's quite a bit of fun to do that.
Hell yeah.
I haven't done one for Squirrel yet though. His baser level of thoughts were hard for me to figure out how to express. Since he has no verbal abilities at all. He's smart. He can think and communicate through, pushing James around or laying in somebody's lap, in the same way that a dog can. But he doesn't have the same level of cognitive thoughts that other beings have. So I haven't attempted one yet.
All right.
So we've talked about it on the show before, but I always give my dog Kachan the Morty voice from Rick and Morty.
He does. Mm-hmm. I've seen it in person. He does.
But
Kachan also has the Morty face.
Dad, I don't know if I could get up there. It's pretty high.
So you have to pick Kachan up like he's a baby and carry him around. Baby. And he's a boxer. He a big boy.
But no, that's my doggo. I got a glass here. The dog father. It's what I got my scotch in.
You're in that fucking scotch. Is that the one?
I'm not a big Scotch
I got
person.
Scotch for my birthday.
I was gonna say, is that the one Olivia got you for your birthday?
Yes, and it is honestly really good.
I just got my normal cider for
I know
the
I'm going to
show.
offend some people here, but Scotch is not my thing. In all honesty, if I wanted to go taste something mossy, I'd just lick a tree. That's kind of how I feel about it.
I mean, it's got more like vanilla hints, banana. Well, not quite banana. It's definitely have some like smoky taste to it as well, but kind of just mix those all together. Honestly, it kind of tastes really good.
I'm more of a rum and coke kind of guy, but ever since I went out to hang out with Charles Dean with Brandon, he had ciders at the house. I was like, I've never been a big cider guy, but I'll have some, and it's just been my go-to.
Some of them are really good. Some of them are really bad. I found with ciders.
Oh yeah,
There's a place over here near where I live, about 10 minutes away, called Cidercade. I don't know if you've heard of those or not. I don't know if they have those anywhere else besides here, but it's just a big arcade. You pay $12 to get in. They have a cider bar that you can get with like
nice.
35 different ciders on taps, and then
that sounds
all the
pretty
kind of
epic.
games you could think of in there. From
All right, Joel, we might have to make a trip down there.
So
It was awesome.
we had a cookout the other day, and we had the canned cider boys.
Are you talking about when we were at Brandon's?
Yes,
And Paul
the
got
peach
these.
one.
It wasn't cider boys. It wasn't cider boys. It was
wasn't?
some other brand. I don't remember what it was, but Jesus Christ.
The peach one literally tasted like a baby's diaper. Like
It was
fucking
gross.
bad.
After Joel left, we went down to the lake by Brandon's house and shot the remaining cans. They were disgusting.
Yeah, I've had some
they
of
were probably
those.
the worst things I've ever tasted. I think the actual like apple cider one was okay, but they were like seltzer ciders.
I need to see if they anything of those seltzers is like, we made this in a factory that used to house fruit, and they're always terrible.
It was like soda water, like 90% soda water, 10% of the actual drink. It was fucking gross.
All right.
I need to find. I think it's called Tropic Thunder. I had one when I was there. Flint City Hard Cider, I think is what it is.
Okay.
Tropic Thunder. That was. I'm
They
not
make a
normally a
great
hard
movie.
cider person, but it was so good.
I see a
It was a
cat
good
like
movie,
coming through the Grand System vending logo, and I love it.
Oh yeah, that's Coco. She's a terror.
My four are out there terrorizing each other, so as long as they're not terrorizing me, I don't care.
Yes, my wife's ragdoll cat.
We'll start wrapping up with final thoughts. Joel, do you wanna start?
Yeah, I did want to mention this because you haven't yet. So is there some sort of relationship that we need to look forward to?
I was gonna fucking bring it up, but damn it, no.
The only relationship that I've written in the book so far is Kevin has a relationship with another barbarian named Kirsten. Otherwise, no relationships.
Okay, no relationships in the apocalypse. No time for that shit.
I'm sure there's some other people that have some, and I'm currently working on I think it's going to be like 5 or 6 chapters murder mystery in book 3, where there is a relationship that happens with 2 other people, but none of the main characters besides Kevin have any relationships that I've written so far. They're all too busy with other things and
trying to survive.
Yeah, and or if I put 2 of the people together, I might get murdered in real life. So
that's fair. That's fair.
That's totally what I was thinking.
Yeah, but like we don't want to see that. Yes, we do,
bro.
Yeah, I like being alive. So
you don't want to be taken to the undisclosed location to be thrown in the basement to write more and more and more, right?
Oh, I already get thrown in there. I'm worried about what happens after that because I've been told that's only level 1 of hell. So,
Fucking the ringleader's here. They are totally watching. We speak nothing but positive things.
And on that note, we love you guys, and this was a great episode.
Just make the
Richie,
just make the only
do you
real
have,
relationship for one of the familiars.
so
there you go.
Squirrel
that's
gets
fun.
his nuts.
When you get to book 3, you'll see some very misconstrued fun things when Jerky evolves.
Looking forward to that.
I don't know how
you're
I
gonna
feel
love
about
that. You're gonna love that.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's not anything at all, but there are a lot of people who are like making those jokes, like when you're with somebody who you're not actually with, and everybody around you makes all those jokes. Yeah, that's what happens.
TJ's got a question for you.
Yes, I am. I am a good boy, always, who does what he's told.
So,
God damn it. All right, we're gonna start
do
wrapping
you have
up.
any last thoughts, Rich?
My final thoughts is this was an unexpected surprise. Obviously, when I went in thinking that this was going to be about a guy who gets isekai as a vending machine, this was before I knew there was an anime for it, because that got recommended after I had that thoughts, because Facebook listens to all of our conversations. Fuck you, Zuckerberg.
Right. Definitely.
Fucking goblin. But no, it's really good. I'm very happy that you are signed with Legion. I cannot wait to pick up the physical copies of these books so I can have them on my shelf with the Legion collection and also the audio, because the audio I know is going to be fucking perfect. And whoever you pick is going to do an amazing job, because in this industry, we have nothing but talented, amazing narrators.
Oh yeah.
And someone asked the question, I think it was Podium Audio asked this question the other day on Facebook. Does listening to an audiobook count as reading? And I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say abso-fucking-lutely. I'm constantly busy. I'm constantly busy. I don't have time to just sit down and read as much as I want to anymore. So
the words are still absorbed. The only difference is you aren't physically reading them. You're just having someone say the words. You're still absorbing the information. If I'm listening to a book and I don't know what a word is, I'm still going to go on my phone and Google what the definition of the word is. So I think it still counts as reading.
I do like that Kindle has included that feature for a dictionary, because there's a few books in Jack's, or a few words in Jack's book that I'm just like, what the fuck is this word? Jack, you elegant bastard. What is this?
Yeah, when I have to pull out the dictionary in chapter 1, you know.
The first 3 paragraphs. But no, it's so good. Scarlet Citadel is so good so far. Which is going to segue us into our next section of, hey, what you been reading? Ryan, we're going to start with you, because we always start with our guests. So what you been reading lately? Like what's on your list? Tell us about your little bookie list.
I'm in the middle of a lot of books, unfortunately, because everybody wants me to read something, and I feel bad for not reading their stuff.
Don't know what that's fucking like.
Yeah, I'm sure you have no idea what that's like, right?
Got back from Dragon Con, and my TBR was like 20 books long. 20 more books long.
Jordan Con?
Yeah, Jordan Con. Sorry.
I don't even want to talk about my TBR list. That's not. I don't think I could get through that in a 2-hour session with you guys if I just sat here and read off names.
Right.
But right at the moment, I'm reading Scarlet Citadel. I'm reading Calamity. I am reading One Flew Over the Dragon's Nest. I'm reading what's the name of the book? The Shinhofen series I was talking. Aether's Blessing.
Aether's Blessing, so good. I fucking love Aether's Blessing.
Yeah.
Or Aether's Revival is the series, but Aether's Blessing is the first one.
And then I'm also reading Embers and Ash by J.D. Glasscock. Those are kind of the ones that I'm actively in the middle of reading.
Is that a superhero one?
Yes, that's a superhero one. I have Nocturne set up to go next, but I wanted to finish Embers and Ash before I got to that. And then listening, I am on book 3 of Tokens and Towers.
The box
That's the one
sex.
I'm actively listening to. Yeah, the box sex.
Best typo ever.
It
I
was
fucking
the
love
greatest
Tokens and
typo.
Powers. And shout out to Daniel Wisniewski and Rebecca Woods in that one because they give it their all,
Yes.
as they always do. It's so fucking good.
Yes, I love that one too. And then I think I've got a couple others that I've been putting kind of going back and forth with that I've been listening to. I know I'm really excited for Eric Ueglen's new Good Guys book to come out on audio in
Oh,
August.
Badge of
I'm
the
just a
Throne.
huge fan
Yes.
of Eric Ueglen.
I love Eric Ueglen. The
Eric
Good
is
Guys and the Bad
who-
Guys is so fucking good.
Yeah, he's who I've modeled my dialogue-driven application of writing after. Was after Uegland. It's so good.
All right. Joel, you're next.
Yeah.
Even though I don't care.
So I read Grand System Vending, book 1. It was a fantastic read. No, but other than that, yeah. Like Paul said, Ripple System Book 5 just came out. It was really good. It was really good. I loved that. I also did a listen through of Solo Leveling, like the whole series, because the anime is out. And I watched the anime a little bit, and then I was like, I'll give the book another try. Narration, just the way he uses the automatopoeias, I guess is what it's called, where like he makes the noises for like actions that people make. I hate it. I hate it. But the series itself is really good.
I enjoyed the anime, although I'm
The
still
anime
mad
is
that
really good.
I'm still mad that episode 7.5 doesn't have a dub. Except
No, it does now.
Oh, it does now. It was just
It does now.
Korean for the longest time. Okay, I need to go back and watch that then because I had to skip it because I
For
don't
me,
watch
it was
subs.
like that for like a day, and I was like, "Wait, what happened?" And then I went back, and it was
Oh, for me, it was
the
like
way
that
it
for
was
like 3 weeks.
Let me
So that
double
was
check.
pissed.
I'm double checking right now.
Other than that, I just started Aced by Jonathan Smith. That's my next read.
Nope, never mind. It still has it's
Still
yep,
Korean
never mind.
dubbed. Yeah.
Still Korean dubbed.
Yeah, and then after
Motherfuckers.
that is I'll be reading Scarlet Citadel because we got Jack on next week or the 22nd. Richie.
All right.
What you been
So, my damn computer keeps like locking up for some reason. Fucking bastard. So I just finished my listen to Quest Academy Scavengers because the audiobook came out this week and it's so
I
good.
need to listen to the audio
So
for
fucking
that.
good. So fucking good. Rebecca Woods is the one that got to pronounce my character's name, and she did it perfectly. So I can't complain. I'm very happy.
Just the one time I mentioned was that
it.
hard to say. I mean,
Rich
sorry, did I say that out loud? Sorry, intrusive thoughts for winning again.
You know what, Brian? Kill him off in the next book. I can't remember if I brought it up last time, but I did do a re-listen to Aced because I was looking for something comfort level to listen to while I waited for Quest Academy to come out. I didn't want to start another book after I had finished Oathbound Healer by Selkie Myth, which is the first book in the Beneath the Dragon Eye Moon. Very good. Yeah. Surprised me a lot.
I also read that one. I totally missed my
Kindle. I continued with my listening of Rise to Omniscience. So I finished Stormforge and Silver Spear, which is books 5 and 6 in that series. I can't remember if I brought it up last time, but I did start Beware of Chicken, and I finished it all the way through. It was a surprise.
I listened to that one with my family.
Good. Yeah, I'm waiting for book 4 to come out.
It was a surprise for me. I didn't think it was going to be my type of read, and it was.
Oh no, it's so good.
It is very good.
So funny.
And then I did a re-listen to Retribution, which is book 10 in the beginning after the end, because I have been rewatching, of course, Jobless Reincarnation, waiting for new episodes to drop, and that is my comfort.
I love that show so much.
So good. So fucking good. I can't wait because
we're getting one of my great.
The dub is getting ready to start the Labyrinth arc, and I can't fucking wait.
I'm so.
And then, of course, reading on like Kindle and everything. I did Heavenly Chaos, which I think I mentioned it, and the audiobook comes out this week, or not this week, next week. And then Oh, I got to beta read Theft of Decks, which is Lars's book for Legion, and holy fuck, it is
That
good.
sounds interesting.
It is a
I
deck
hope
builder
so,
lit
'cause-
RPG, and it's so good.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to getting that one because I just got to be unpopular opinion if I can. Jake's Magical Market was not all it was cracked up to be.
Damn.
Sorry.
Well, a lot of people
I
have
just-
that opinion.
I mean, it's good, but it didn't make my top. It didn't make my high ranked list. I mean, don't get me
So
wrong.
I
I
think it
listened to it. I'm
depends.
going to get
Good.
the second one.
It was good, but it just wasn't for you.
Yeah, it wasn't for
I
me.
think
There's
it
nothing wrong with the
depends
story at all.
on what you're reading it for. Like if you're reading it for the just adventure and story, it's like a great book. But if you're reading it for like Jake's Magical Market being like Jake's Magical Market, it's can be upsetting.
So I had no
everybody did we talk
idea
about it.
going into it. I actually, when I first read that one, I got it pretty early on, and I had no idea going into it what it's about. I just saw it recommended by a bunch of people, and I thought, I'll give it a try. And I think that the main reason it doesn't resonate with me is because of the type of lit RPG that really gets my motor going. I'm kind of and I've had other people say this to me too, and you can see it in my writing. I'm more of an OG, big action, lots of fighting scenes, go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, kind of a lit RPG enjoyer. So it just didn't scratch the itch that I'm normally looking for. Again, there's nothing wrong with the book. I think it's great. A lot of people are loving it, especially getting into that. But like even some of the cozy fantasy, I find it hard to get into. Not because it's not well written,
can
not because
agree
it's not a
with
good
that.
story, but because it just doesn't vibe with me the same way that I'm used to, reading things like The Land and Underverse and some of these big name, big hard hitting, giant action scene style stories, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
So
Yeah.
I've said it before where some stuff is not really in my wheelhouse, but
A lot of things I recommend.
yeah. But honestly, for the most part that I've read, a lot of them have other aspects to the series that I enjoy. So I can read them to at least form an opinion on them.
Yeah, and don't get me
I
wrong,
can get through them.
I get through quite a few of these different series. I mean, if you look through my hundreds and hundreds of audiobooks and Kindle Unlimited books that I've got in my backlog, I don't have Kindle Unlimited anymore. I just buy the books now. $5 a pop. I'll just pick them up here and there. So, but thousands of books in my library and hundreds of audiobooks that I've downloaded and gotten through. I can get through just about anything, but if I get to the end of it, sometimes I'm just like, it was good, just not my cup of tea.
Right.
It's not that there's
And
anything wrong with
that's how
it.
I am. Like there's a few big name titles out there that like did not resonate with me.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're bad books, it's just they're not my cup of tea.
Right.
They're not what I'm looking for, whether it was the writing style or the character development. It didn't vibe with me. Where I can see it vibes with other people, but not with me.
I've been pushing Richie to read like World Keeper for like ever because
And I haven't started
as
it yet.
As mechanics space go, it is like an 11. But as far as like relationship and character building, it's toned down.
Like, and that's a good point. Like Justin
Speaking
Miller,
of
he's
which,
a good author.
I read Chaotic Times and it was fantastic.
Justin Miller, great author, and I read his what was it, World Seed series. It wasn't bad. Neil Helligers did an amazing job with narrating it. It just wasn't my type of lit RPG. So
Yeah,
and that's something about the lit RPG genre. There's something for everyone there.
Yeah, it's true. There's so much diversity. It's so great. Like I'm actually looking forward to. I think all the deck building hasn't necessarily resonated with me like it has a lot of other readers.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking forward to Lars's because I loved his Master of the Horde series. that he wrote.
See, I've read the first book of Master of the Horde, but I
fantastic.
haven't gone all the way through. But I've read Wayward
It gets
Bard.
better. It gets
and
better.
Of course, Hackers of Artem.
I mean, if you enjoyed his first book in the Masters series and the Dragon series, you're gonna love it as it goes further on because it just gets better. I mean, it's an awesome series. I haven't done Wayward Bard yet, though. That's my list to be read still.
It's good. It's good, and the audio is done by Soundbook Theater. JTJ, main narrator, fucking amazing.
Just know it does
awesome.
a fantastic job.
But we're gonna go ahead and wrap up our show for today. And once again, shout out to Legion Publishers with their authors. If you want to check out their website, go over to legionpublishers.com. And the little snippet, of course, on their front page is the Legion Publishers is owned and operated by authors and experts within the lit RPG and gameless genres. We formed the Legion Publishers to provide a range of resources to authors in a place where they can receive top professional services from industry experts, advocacy, and trusted advice. So if you want to look at what Legion books are out and everything right now, head on over to legionpublishers.com. Take a look at their website. It's got some great shit on there. And of course, some amazing author announcements coming up that I don't know about. I just know there's announcements coming soon. I don't know who's who or what's what, but I know there's some good stuff cooking. And of course, we got some great books coming out in the month of June. June is stacked for content.
Yeah,
and merch.
absolutely.
And they've got merch on the site. Every one of the authors has their own little merch shop in the Legion
They do have
site.
merch on the site. And they, like I said, they got some amazing
merch?
Like everyone has merch, I think.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
I need to go get me some merch.
We do. We need to get some merch.
I got room on my shelf. It needs plushies.
But please feel free to join us on not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday, the 23rd, when Mr. Jack Fields, the DM for Legion Publishers' Final Call D&D game, will be joining us. And also,
be ready to have your ears sing.
Your ears will be singing. Your ears will be singing. That man's voice is elegant. The way he speaks is just, you can tell he's a very intelligent man, and we love him.
Yeah, I sigh and roll my eyes because I'm so jealous. Wish I sounded like. I wish I was that eloquent.
And he's Irish, so hopefully he'll have his the little steam going behind him again. Have the paid actor.
We had fun. This was a good episode.
This was a fun episode. So Ryan,
and thank you all for coming in and
I'm just gonna let him finish the show. Finish the show off, Joel.
It was fantastic show. Thank you again. Thank you, Legion, for sponsoring the episode. Thank you, Ryan, for being on the show and giving us your time. And from here, from Chattin Stats, just have a good day.
You heard it there, guys. That's good. That's good with me. Everyone, you guys take care and thank you all.
Bye.